was riding in an elevator with Justin Bieber when suddenly it lurched to a stop. It was just a normal day when it happened. I was at the record label on my way out to do the morning coffee run. I walked into the elevator and hit the down button, then waited for the doors to close. The doors were sliding together, but suddenly, someone's arm stuck between them, stopping them from closing. They slid back open, and I saw him. There he was, Justin Bieber, international pop superstar. It was like he had a halo of bright light behind him. It wasn't the first time that I had seen him in my life. As a card-carrying believer, I had been to loads and loads of his concerts, but it was the first time that I had seen him up close. Oh my God, he was beautiful. I had never been close enough to smell him before. He smelled like expensive cologne, of course. He looked like he had just walked out of a magazine photo shoot. His blonde hair and tan skin. I had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming. "Hey," he said to me as the elevator doors shut. I almost died. "Stop it, Jessie. This is your chance. Don't sound like a weirdo. Just be cool." He said hi. Just say hi back. No need to overthink it. I had said hi a million times in my life, at least. We just wanted to be cool, regular Jessie, not obnoxious fangirl Jessie. I opened my mouth to say it, but right then, there was a loud bang and the elevator stopped moving. The lights flickered on and off for a second before they turned back on. The elevator had just gotten stuck. Holy crap. What were we going to do? I thought I was dreaming, but no, the elevator was really stuck. I looked at Justin and he was already freaking out. He started banging on the elevator doors like that was going to get them open. He started yelling, which made me start to panic a little. It was just the two of us, but I knew that the building was full of people at work. Somebody was going to notice and let us out. I don't think anyone can hear you." Justin turned around and glared at me. His light brown eyes looked like they were on fire. "Uh-oh. Did you do this?" he demanded. My mouth fell open. Did I do this? Do what? Make the elevator stop? How would I even manage to do that? Yeah, for the first time in my life, I was stuck in a small private space with my favorite pop star, which was a dream come true, but I didn't sabotage the elevator to make sure that we got trapped inside. What was I, some sort of evil mastermind? I was scared too, in case he hadn't noticed. "Do what?" I asked. "You did something to the elevator so that I'd be stuck in here with you." I just stared at him because I couldn't believe what he was accusing me of. "If you did, you're in big trouble. I'm going to call my lawyer. I'm going to call my publicist." He started digging around his pockets for his phone. "Well, wait a second. You really think I'd sabotage the elevator so that I'd be stuck in here with you? Who do you think you are?" He paused, looking at me like he wasn't really sure what he was going to say next. "Are you saying that you didn't sabotage the elevator?" "Oh my God, of course not. I don't want to be stuck in an elevator." "Wait, not even with me?" Justin asked. He couldn't tell, but right then, I was absolutely screaming on the inside. Which fan wouldn't want to be stuck anywhere with their favorite idol? I was going to play it cool, though. My mother was a record company executive at Justin's record label, and my dad was a high-powered lawyer for studios and different directors in Hollywood. My whole life growing up, I had been surrounded by famous and powerful people. I was going to be heading to college soon, so my mother thought that an internship at the record label would look good on my resume. "Whatever you do, do not embarrass me or yourself in front of the talent," she said. "While they are here, they are just regular people going to work. Don't make me regret letting you work here over the summer." I got to work at a record label where tons of my favorite celebrities walked through every other day, but the one condition was no fangirling. That was easy, I thought, and it was. Up until now, I hadn't been stuck in the elevator literally 2 feet away from my favorite pop star. No, not even with you, not with anybody. Being stuck in an elevator is one of the worst things that can happen to a person. You're telling me. He gave up and sat down on the ground. Good. It looked like he didn't notice that I was lying through my teeth when I said that I didn't want to be stuck in an elevator with him. He didn't say anything for a few minutes, and neither did I. Wow, stuck in an elevator with Justin Bieber, and the best I could get was an awkward silence? "So, what's your name?" he asked me finally. "Jessie." Nice to meet you, Jessie. I'm Justin." I'm Justin? He was Justin Bieber. He didn't have to introduce himself. He was an international superstar. Everybody knew who he was. No, stop. Don't do that while you're in here with him, I thought. He is probably used to crazy fangirls mobbing him all the time and just wants to be normal once in a while. It finally dawned on me. This was serious. I was in a position that thousands, no, millions of believers around the world wish that they could be in. I was stuck in a small space with Justin, and I could tell him anything that I wanted. I cleared my throat and composed myself. "Hello, Justin. So nice to meet you." He started asking me a couple more questions, like how old I was and where I went to school. He wasn't in school anymore, of course. After high school, which he graduated with a 4.0 GPA, by the way, he didn't end up going to college. I mean, why would he? He already had a job. He had had a job since he was 13. And now he was the Justin Bieber. He had probably made enough money from his music to never have to work again. I told him how old I was, 18, almost 19, and that my family lived in Calabasas. My parents had always been in high-powered jobs, so I had always been around important people. I had met a ton of celebrities when I was just a kid. I had pictures and everything. "That's really cool. So what are you doing here?" he asked. I was going to tell him that my mother worked at the record label, but I stopped. Didn't that sound weird? Didn't it sound like I was just here at the record label because my mother worked here? I didn't want him to think that I used my mom's job to get stuff that normal people couldn't get. I looked for internships in Hollywood, and I was lucky enough to find this one. Really? He didn't look convinced. "Yeah, I've always wanted to be a singer, so I thought working at a record label would be good experience to see what happens in the business." "Oh, you want to be a singer?" he asked. He quirked one of his eyebrows and flashed me the sweetest smile. I melted right on the spot. I couldn't believe that I was standing there lying to Justin Bieber, but it sounded like he liked what I was telling him. The truth was so boring. What was wrong with telling him this version? Yeah, it's dumb. I don't even know if I could do it, but I have always wanted to be a singer." "Don't say that. I'm sure you're super talented." "Thanks, but I don't think you can even say that." "You've never even heard me sing." "Do it then." "What?" "Sing something for me." If Justin Bieber told you to jump, the only acceptable reply was how high. There was one little problem, though. I couldn't sing to save my life. The truth was that I was tone deaf. I really liked music and singing, but I couldn't carry a tune in a backpack if I tried. When I was a kid, I used to think that I was a great singer, one of the greatest singers. I thought that if I wanted to, I could have a real singing career. I mean, my mother worked at a record label. It was like destiny. It was meant to be. But this was Justin Bieber. What was I supposed to do? Tell him no? So I did it. I sang the first verse of his latest single. I had to close my eyes because I was so embarrassed. When I was done, he was smiling. "Look, I'm here to have a meeting with my producer. How about this? Once we get out of here, if we can get out of here alive, you can sing for my producer and maybe we can see what happens." Excuse me? Was that Justin Bieber truly asking me to spend more time with him after we got out of this elevator? It absolutely was. Wait, did that mean I was a better singer than I thought I was? How unlucky was that? I get a chance to meet Justin Bieber and he offers me the chance of a lifetime to meet someone who could actually give me a music career, but I can't even sing. The elevator lurched again and there was another bang. After the lights flickered a couple of times, the elevator doors slid back open. Justin jumped to his feet. "We are free! We're free!" he said. "Quick, before the doors close again." Just then, Justin grabbed my hand and yanked me out of the elevator with him. I was never washing that hand again. "Are you okay?" Justin asked me. Was I okay? I had just spent the most perfect 15 minutes of my life alone in an elevator with Justin Bieber. I was more than okay. If I died tomorrow, I wouldn't have a single problem with it. "I'm fine. What about you?" I asked him. Justin! Justin!" Just then, we heard someone shouting from down the hallway. One who was security came up to us. "Justin, your producer has been looking all over for you. What happened? Where were you?" Guys, relax. The elevator just got stuck for a while, but everything is cool. I made a new friend. This is... Justin, you don't have time for this. You're late for a meeting." The men started dragging Justin away. Well, that was that. My brief encounter with Justin Bieber that I would remember for the rest of my life. I sighed. Guys, wait. This is Jessie. I want her to come to the meeting with me. I want her to meet my producer." The guys looked really annoyed with him, but they didn't argue. Just like that, I was in. My life flashed before my eyes. I was going to meet a producer because Justin thought I could sing. All I could remember was the other kids at the talent show laughing at me. I had to stop this. "Justin, I really have to get back to work. I was actually on my way." I was going to say that I was on my way to do a coffee run for everyone at the office I was working in, but then Justin grabbed my hand and I couldn't think straight anymore. Justin wanted to take me somewhere. Who was I to complain? I followed him to the office where we met his producer. A man was sitting at the end of a long table. He stood up, looking really upset when Justin and I showed up. "Justin, where the hell were you? Money doesn't grow on trees, kid. Time is money." I know. Look, it isn't our fault. The elevator got stuck, but I have some good news. Jesse's actually a singer. The guys looked at me like I was something on the bottom of his shoe. A singer? Well, I'll be the judge of that. Why is she here? This is a private meeting. You can't bring your little girlfriends to these, Justin. Girlfriend? I almost had a heart attack. Justin just recently got out of a relationship, and I knew that he wasn't dating at the moment. Obviously, I wasn't his girlfriend, but it made me feel good that his producer thought I was Justin's type. Look, how about this? Jessie sings for you, you see how good she is, and she gets to stay for the meeting, Justin suggested. I was so dazed that I didn't realize what he just said. When I snapped out of it, I looked at the producer. He had a wicked grin on his face. Okay, let's just see how good you are, Jessie. Sing something for me. I stood there with my mouth hanging open, looking at Justin and his producer, both waiting for me to blow them away with my amazing vocal skills. Well done, Jessie. You really dug yourself into a hole this time. I should have said something earlier about not knowing how to sing. The producer was smirking while Justin was smiling at me. Well, come on, blow us away, the producer said menacingly. I wanted to cry, but if I ran out of there covering my face, maybe Justin would forget that I have ever existed. But I didn't want to make him mad. I didn't want to embarrass him when he had given me the opportunity of a lifetime. So I closed my eyes. Whatever happened now, happened. I took a deep breath and I started singing. I chose one of Justin's songs because I knew them all by heart. I was so bad, you guys. I could practically hear windows shattering and babies crying when I sang. It was that off-key. I kept going for the whole song, and neither Justin nor his producer stopped me. When I was done, both of them were speechless. Justin spoke first. Justin said, "Wow, I really think she could be the next best thing. She's young and she has a good image. I think people will really like her." The producer scratched the back of his head. "Justin, are you sure?" "Absolutely. In fact, I want her on my next song as the featured artist." The producer paused, then nodded. "Okay, we can make that happen. We'll call you." They took my contact and Justin escorted me out of the room. I was in a daze. Had that really happened? Now everyone who said I couldn't sing in the past would have to eat their words. "Are you serious about what you said? About me being a feature artist on your next track?" I asked Justin. "What? No, of course not. Are you kidding me? You can't sing to save your life." I stopped. "What?" "Seriously. I just did it because my producer takes too much money from his cut of my profits. If he actually released music from someone who sounded like you, he'd be a laughing stock." He laughed and walked away. But before he left, he said, "You're cute. How about a date?" My heart broke. All these years of being a fan, I thought I knew Justin, but I didn't. He had tricked me. I looked deep inside his eyes and said, "Oh, I would love that." And we scheduled a date. On the day of the date, he called me 30 times, but I never picked up. I think he will never forget my name, just like I will never forget his.